Croeso nôl. Welcome back to the FleetEV National League here in the House of Sport Cardiff, day 1 of the finals weekend competition. If you're just joining us, you have just missed a wonderful game of Northwest Fury and Valley Volcanoes with some incredible action for the first game, and we are ready for more of that same action. I'm Elaine Roberts, and I'm joined by the wonderful Nat Pepperell, ready to take you through the day today. The next fixture we have coming up for you is Northeast Inferno versus Southeast Blaze. So Northeast Inferno currently top of that table, trying to reclaim the crown they believe should have been theirs last season, but was stolen from them by Valley Volcanoes last second. You watched that last year, Nat?
Absolutely, and you know what, seeing this team warming up on court and having, seen a little bit over the last couple of days, and you also saying they haven't lost yet, I can see why. It's going to be a great match when those two meet.
Oh, it's going to be wonderful. And Southeast Blaze have also shown their incredible performances, especially last month in Ebbw Vale. They really brought that fire and took a draw up to City Flames in one of those last games, which was absolutely wonderful to watch. So let's take a quick look at our starting sevens for these two teams then. So, first off, for Southeast Blaze, we have Charlotte Lewis at goal shooter, Abigail Meredith playing goal attack, Rebecca Baker is in at wing attack, Charlotte Scarborough is playing at centre, Eloise Spacey is taking up that wing defence position, Brooke Collette is in at goal defence, and Katie Reese is back in at goalkeeper. Over to Northeast Inferno, our current top of the table champions. Erin Hook is in at goal shooter, Becca Hughes at goal attack, Emily Wykes in at wing attack, Jessica Daltrey is in at centre, the twin telepathy of Catherine Hughes is on at wing defence, Caitlin Jones is in at goal defence, and Tash Jarvis at goalkeeper. Caitlin Jones, we just heard something very interesting about Caitlin Jones, didn't we, Nat?
We did. She's moved her flight so that she can be here today. She was due to go on holiday, is that right?
So Caitlin Jones was meant to be at Cape Verde, and being a netball legend has changed her flights.
I mean, fair play, because I would currently be on the beach. I'm not going to lie.
I would be in the air on my way. But we do love a netballer that's committed.
Absolutely.
We absolutely love the commitment.
And you know what, it also, without sounding really cheesy, it's actually credit to this league that this is so important to her that she's actually willing to change her holiday dates. I mean, we say that you die for your team, but that is literally giving most things for your team to not go on holiday. What a superstar.
What a superstar. And she has already been incredible for this Northeast team throughout this tournament. So the umpires for this next game today is Matt Cole and Anne Burt-Williams. However, I have not seen Matt Cole here today yet, so warming up, getting ready on the court is Becky Scott and Charlie Howells. So there might have been a quick change in that setup.
Becky Scott's Volunteer of the Month, isn't she?
She was Volunteer of the Month. Yes, Becky Scott has been the most wonderful woman to work with over the past few years. She is an A umpire, one of the few we have in Wales. She is very fair and biased and just an all-round lovely person.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Even before I knew her, she always said hello to me, which I love people like that.
I think that's just a Cardiff in her, isn't it?
But never too big for her boots. Quite happy to say hello to absolutely everyone and anyone. Love that.
Absolutely love it. So as the players get ready to take onto the court, Becky Scott and Charlie Howells will get ready to take on this game whilst they walk onto the court. Southeast Blaze just on the right of your screens in the red dresses, and Northeast Inferno in the black.
I'd be quite pleased that the twins are in different areas of the court, because that always used to throw me, that I get confused which one
very hard
you'd
to
be trying to mark, surely.
So Southeast Blaze kick us off for that first centre pass.
Oh, lovely. Really strong play from the goal shooter.
And Abigail Meredith puts us straight on the board.
Oh, look at that one too.
Look at that. And Northeast Inferno have shown up today, and they mean business.
Wowza. I mean, you credit centre passes for being textbook, but
Brooke Collette, she means business too. And that power ball in to Charlotte Lewis.
wow.
I feel like today is going to be full of wonderful games.
I think you might be right, and this is going to be one of those games. It's going to be who learns the quickest, isn't it? Because so far, attacking prowess from both sides is slick.
Erin Hook will have another go at the shot. And no problems for her. There is Brooke Collette again, bringing that ball up court, making work for her attackers so much easier. Oh, and that first all-important turnover.
Yeah, unfortunate it was an error as well, rather than, and an offside might gift it back.
Oh, but she couldn't quite get her feet there. Emily Wykes tiptoeing the white line of the circle.
Nice reset. Oh, look at that drive. Oh. This is smart play. They're just moving the ball. There's a couple of times it could have gone in, but you know what? If you keep possession, it doesn't matter, does it? Lovely.
Keep possession means you've still got the ball in play. Meredith just slightly off, so Caitlin Jones will pick that up.
Nice link. The footwork just to get herself nice and close.
Lovely split from Erin Hook. And that turnover for Inferno will take them 1 goal ahead. And the space from Emily Wykes, just positioning her body to protect that space, isn't it, to get to pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where you've all got to be on the same page defensively, I think. They're going to have to decide to either to challenge first phase or second phase. But at the moment, one's trying to challenge first and one's trying to challenge second. It doesn't work.
And you end up playing like individuals that are in a unit then, don't you?
Yeah, they need to play together.
But they do
That's
strike
better.
back Southeast.
Oh,
Better
great
from
take.
Spacey. Wonderful work from Eloise Spacey. She read that straight away. Did not let Wykes get onto the wrong side of her. And then there comes right through the middle, comes Jess Daltrey.
Yeah, completely different defensive strategy. One playing man on, one playing off, both equally effective if executed right. We've gone from a masterclass of attack to a masterclass of defense.
Well, these two teams really are gunning for it this weekend.
Lovely ball.
And a lovely space from Charlotte Lewis.
Needs to sink that, really, being so close. She'll have to look at that
and
shot.
Northeast Inferno and acres of space.
It's the width they create, isn't it? I've said that just as they've all come together. But as they were coming through court, they're so wide and then play onto ball.
They play in waves, don't they? They kind of open and close the court so nicely.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And it confuses the space then for Southeast plays.
Lovely, lovely front position.
Erin Hook having no problems again, putting that ball up in the net, taking the score to 7-3. Oh, I thought Tash Jarvis was going to go out on the fly then. And Charlotte Lewis pops that one in for them, and cheers from the Southeast Blaze bench.
Oh yeah, footwork. Good umpiring.
Eagle-eyed umpiring from Charlie Howells.
Oh.
Charlie Howells, one half of a mother-daughter umpiring combo we have here this weekend.
That's amazing.
Really nice to see, isn't it?
Great shot from distance. This is a great game.
And Rebecca Baker just stayed in the air then for about, oh, Jess Daltrey. The turnovers in this game.
Yeah, just plucked that one out of the air. I mean, it was gifted a little bit because it was very static on that reset. It really needed to go back to the line rather than a mid-court player. Just like that.
Great reset.
Woo.
And Jess Daltrey is taken off her feet by Katie Reese.
I love that little shooter shuffle. Did you see a shuffle a little bit further forward? What, here, umpire?
I'm just going to keep going till it's having to stop.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, lovely 1-2. 3 passes and we're into Erin Hook.
So when you were saying about the goalkeeper at the back looking for the fly, they really need to start doing that. at the moment, both goalkeepers are quite focused on their goal shooters, but the depth that these teams are getting, there are some sitters.
Northeast Inferno play with such open vision, don't they? They play with peripherals, they play openly. And the play they're then getting from that is, like we said, this kind of wavy play. Whereas if you're playing with like tunnely vision and one-sided vision, then you're going to get that narrow play, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%. Nice middle.
Lovely jump by Eloise Spacey again to turn over that ball.
She's a great little player.
Also got arms for days.
She looks quite young. Is she quite young?
Yeah, 21, 22.
Wow.
Just graduated from Cardiff Met University, Eloise Spacey. And Caitlin Jones did not want that ball, but she knew where it should have gone. Straight over to Catherine Hughes.
Lovely work. They're just constantly moving, recreating space, going again.
No one takes ball standing still, do they, for Northeast Inferno? And that's one of their key aspects.
Absolutely. It's so hard to take ball from a player that's moving onto the ball like that. Lovely swing.
And again.
And it's the clear of Erin Hook as well. You know, I know she didn't clear with too much purpose, but she still moved out of the way. She knew exactly what Becca Cook was doing.
Absolutely.
Unfortunate, can't sink the goal.
And here goes Charlotte Lewis on the other end. And she can sink it. Taking the score to 10-8. Southeast Blaze have really brought this back.
It's their centre pass as well. Score this and it's between one. I don't want to jinx it too soon. Great depth.
Oh, and a lovely land.
I clapped that. That was great.
Silent clap. That was wonderful play. And only one goal in it now between these two teams. But Northeast Inferno have the centre pass.
Nice to force it back. But again, that width, those waves that you were talking about, they went wide, they've come in, they've gone wide.
Footwork call for Becca Hughes. Enforced error for Northeast Inferno, and they will have to work hard to get this ball back, as it will be a Southeast Blaze centre pass next.
Oh,
but
that is unfortunate.
Unforced overthrow by Charlotte Scarborough.
She'll be frustrated because actually the space was there, the width, it was a good decision. It was just the execution of the pass.
And Emily Wykes in acres of space. Straight into Erin Hook.
Yeah, Reese is really going to have to do some work closing down that goal line to stop Hook from running it.
Oh, Caitlin Jones wasn't sure about that one, was she? She was going to go for it.
And it's good that they're going to go for it because actually by the end of the game they will be going for it.
Oh yeah, it's all about learning your timing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's now still one goal in it, 11-10.
Oh, that could be the turnover. Oh, no, it's not.
Emily Wykes not giving up on that one. And twin to twin, straight in.
That rhymed. You're a poet.
It's wonderful. I've been watching these two play for so long.
It's their lines to ball as well, you know. She turned, she knew that the next play was there.
She was there.
Gosh, just let it go.
20 seconds on the clock. And Abigail Meredith couldn't quite get that one in, and Tash Jarvis will pick it up. Northeast Inferno needs to be clinical now to take this ball to goal without rushing.
And if they do, it makes it a gap of 3, which is really unfortunate for Southeast Blaze.
Wonderful footwork by Erin Hook. With 3 seconds on the clock, Jess Daltrey will take her time, which means a centre pass for them in this first and second quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? It was only right at the end that kind of blew out. But actually, there was a gap as well in the middle of that quarter, and then they pulled it back. I think this is like we've got a proper game on our hands here.
We have got a proper game on our hands. So the Printco Northeast Inferno and Mech Tech Southeast Blaze. 13 goals to 10 at the end of that first quarter. But what a first quarter it was. We expect a lot from Northeast Inferno, having not lost a game yet in this competition. Southeast Blaze really pulling it forward after an emotional competition last time at Ebervale after losing a very dear person to them, Donna Crossman, a pillar in the Welsh netball community. But they are really pulling it out of the bag, aren't they, Northeast, Southeast Blaze?
They really are. I mean, you know what? It's only a couple of tweaks, I think, for them in terms of their defensive setup to turn a bit more ball. At the moment, we talked about the space that Northeast Inferno are having in terms of coming wide, pulling in, coming wide. And Erin Hook as well on the goal line. You know, she's working those feet really nicely. So they kind of need to stop that now. And the way that they need to stop it is by dictating a bit more, dictating the players, giving them an area that they can say, okay, you can go in there, but actually we're not going to allow you all this space. They've done some good jobs in isolating a swing and making that on, but then the next job is isolating it and then running on it. So there are the bones there, but they've really got to implement a bit more of a defensive strategy.
Absolutely, and we see that wonderful play from Northeast Inferno where they just run the ball in any which way they want. But like you said, Southeast Blaze now have to really use the sidelines, an extra defender, and use that back lines and shut down the space they want to run into, don't they? And as now Southeast take this into consideration, would that be what your main focus be now going into the next quarter?
I'd probably play sides. I'd probably say to them, look, try and keep everyone on one side. Someone call it early on a centre pass, play them into the same side. It also stops them from being able to swing it around the circle as well, because what Becca Hughes does really well, and Erin as well, Hook sets herself up for it, is that swing and follow. So can you play all the attack on one side? That stops the swing and follow, but also it stops them having that width, just being able to ping it out to that player who's free.
Absolutely. So as the players do get themselves ready to take onto the court, we will have a quick scan.
I think in fairness to Northeast Inferno as well, they need to try and get a bit more turnover too. Like you talked about them seeing the ball and kind of going and not fully committing. I'd love to see them committing a bit more at the back and going on those flies, because Southeast Blaze have been stood still sometimes to receive ball, and you should be punishing them at the back if they're stood still.
And that's what Northeast Inferno do well, is that they take the ball on the run all the time, which, like you said, makes it hard to defend.
Yeah, hence why you've got to restrict them. You can't be off body on that because they're going to move on to it. But the other way around, start hunting.
Absolutely. So not too much of a substitution for Northeast Inferno, just a little bit of a switch around in centre court. So Emily Wykes has gone into wing defence, Katrin Hughes into centre, and Jess Daltrey has moved into wing attack. So they've all just moved up a position. And looking around for Southeast Blaze, no changes that we can see popping out at us. I think they've kept their 7 the same.
Already a better defensive centre pass for Southeast Blaze because it's not gone straight in, but the patience of Northeast Inferno just to keep moving ball.
And like we spoke about last time with Valley Volcanoes, they're a kind of team as well that can just change game tactic as the game is going on, aren't they? And again, that's so hard to defend.
Oh, it really is. Strong long ball in.
Oh, an unlucky miss. And there's that elevation from Caitlin Jones, but couldn't quite get her hand on it. Shortest player in that circle and trying to get her hand on the ball.
Yeah, they're just sat behind them a bit. They're doing the same defensive structure now, Southeast Blaze together. So we talked in the first quarter, that they were doing different things on the centre pass. They've tightened that up now. They're sitting behind and pushing them up a bit, which is lovely. It's stopping that direct path to goal.
Absolutely. And a little bit more patience required from Southeast Blaze. And they are swinging that ball around a bit more. But a held ball called for Rebecca Baker.
Yeah, she wanted to pass the first, then she wanted to pass the second, and then she went back to the first. I think, you know, it's a reset. You need a reset if you've looked that many times.
Oh, footwork again called for Becca Hughes.
I think it's just a little bit of delayed takeoff, in fairness.
Southeast called this back again. Have another go. And there is Charlotte Lewis.
She finds backspace really nicely, doesn't she?
Yes. Taking the score to 15-12.
Oh, that's so unfortunate for Southeast Blaze. Centre was nearly there, but that's the one that the goalkeeper needs to have a head up and go on. But
because if that centre's on the back foot for that, they're never going to beat that Katrin Hughes that ball, are they? So you're better off cutting the angle off.
Exactly, and it's a long diagonal ball, and you know that Northeast Inferno are confident to send it. So we'll say that was a great pass.
Wonderful pass. Shooter to shooter. And Meredith will put the shot up.
Good defense, keeping them up. Eyes up at the back, no one at home.
Meredith slowing the game down a little bit, allowing her defense to get into position. Another no-look pass from Becca Hughes.
Yeah, and Wykes as well played for the backspace there nicely. But turnover.
An uncharacteristic miss from Erin Hook. Charlotte Scarborough using her body to protect that space.
Unfortunate there from Jones, but Lewis does a great job of getting her on her back. Makes it really hard.
Not a very tall shooting circle, but very athletic.
Nice second option choice from Beck Baker.
So much movement in that circle, isn't there, from both teams. South East Blaze working and working and working to get that movement, but Inferno are really on their backs.
Yeah, and Blaze are really good on their rebounds. They may not be as accurate under the post as some of the teams we've seen so far, but my goodness, they get all the rebounds. We're back to within one. What happened?
Within one. 16 plays 15, whilst Inferno chased the ball down the court.
Oh, and there she is
Spacey again with that outside arm. I don't think Inferno were expecting this for their first game of the day, but South East Blaze were.
Yeah, this is really good so far, but there's
Catherine Hughes all on her own, side of the circle, completely unmarked. Would you leave Catherine Hughes unmarked? I don't think I would.
I mean, again, they can use that to their advantage and set it up for a fly, but you've got to have your back defenders not being so focused just on your shooters. That was read really well.
Tash Jarvis read that wonderfully. And Meredith trying to get that ball to Lewis, but Caitlin Jones having none of it.
Yeah, Caitlin Jones did well on that one. She went just back hedged.
And she's communicating to Tash Jarvis there. Oh, just lost her footing. Lovely shot. And we are seeing a change here. So, Becca Hughes even coming off the court.
I mean, I think this is a force change, which is exciting because I love a force change. It means that it's a bit of like chess going on now between the coaches.
Definitely. Coming on as goal attack for North East Inferno is Ashley Davis. Oh, Charlotte Scarborough, outside arm. That was beautiful.
It was beautiful. There was
I
obviously
believe she was offside.
Oh, fair. I was going to say, I thought it
wasn't
contact.
Contact. No, it was clean as a whistle, but just tiptoed over the line.
Oh, goodness.
Great umpiring for that.
Yeah, how did she see that? I was too excited by the game.
I would have been watching the contact. I wouldn't have even looked at her feet.
Nice by Brooke. Great defending. Great defending.
So that change now to change that goal attack, is it too many unforced errors that's coming from Becca Hughes? Is it you need a little bit more of a movement circle now between Hook and Davis? What would your catalyst have been to change that?
I think that to be fair, a couple of footwork calls might be, okay, the umpire's now looking at your feet and it's happening too much, so we'll just make the change. But it could also just be, sometimes a change just changes the momentum a little bit. And I think they'd lost a little bit of momentum. So sometimes it's not necessarily anything the player's done, and it's almost just subject to the game flow.
Absolutely.
And as you can see, it has changed the flow of the game. They're now 4 up.
Even one player change, it just changes what everyone else does as well and moves around you.
Yeah, and like it might be how effective the defence will be in. The defence now have to think about something new. So Brooke Collette is going to have to think about a different style of player. So that's going to throw her off maybe a little bit from her defensive game. So it's just smart to make a change.
Mind games, isn't it, all of netball? But what a turn from Ashley Davis on that ball. Take turns straight into Erin Hook, and the game is, like you said, the momentum has really picked up again for Northeast Inferno. Now playing 21 goals to 17. So they are 4 ahead.
Oh, look, it's on.
Just short for Meredith, but
I
a
think that
lovely
was a
pass
pass
to Lewis.
We've got you, Meredith. We know it was a pass.
An unlucky attempt at a turnover from Scarborough, but again, Davis finding that depth, playing herself. She's by herself all over that circle, isn't she?
Yeah, that was really, really smart play from her. And how much of a great position is it to be in as a coach when you can bring somebody, you know, you take off one of the most talented players in netball, in my opinion, of Becca Hughes, and then you bring on someone that does that. So, like,
the
equally,
depth on the bench.
Yeah. Imagine having someone like that on the bench. Wow.
And imagine thinking you're second to Becca Hughes when you can play like that. Wonderful.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, unlucky for Jess Daltrey there, called for replay ball. So Inferno will have to get this ball back whilst Blaze bring it up the court.
Yeah, that was good patience by Baker.
Caitlin Jones, outside arm.
She just waited to get everyone ahead of the ball.
Pulled for contact. And Jarvis takes a rebound, but again, a contact called for the defence. So Charlotte Lewis will have another go. Oh, Caitlin Jones again gets a hand to the ball. But Lewis finally sinks that.
Again, like, you know, just getting the rebounds. The confidence to just stick it up. Doesn't matter, I'll get the rebound if I don't get it. Frustration there for Brooke. You can see it on her face.
Frustration when you feel like you've absolutely nailed your defensive tactic and then next thing, something new comes on.
Yeah. And she does a split very differently, so she actually ends up making that distance smaller than you think it's going to be.
And there goes the half-time buzzer for this match. So the scores currently, Northeast Inferno 23, Southeast Blaze 9. So 9 goals put on the board by Southeast Inferno, 10 put on the board for... Sorry, Northeast Inferno put on 10 goals, Southeast Blaze put on 9. So again, a really close quarter. Only 1 goal in it in that one.
Yeah, and the same thing happened again, you know. I mean, slightly differently in the fact that Northeast Inferno went into it ahead, Southeast Blaze came back, Northeast Inferno went to get ahead again. This game still has so much more left in it because it is literally a game of cat and mouse at the minute. You almost feel like it's whoever's going to maintain their composure, maintain their confidence, that's going to win it, not necessarily, you know, which team is better right now because they're so evenly matched across the court.
Absolutely, very evenly matched, and they're both teams are really pushing their defensive circles out. They're really pushing their, you know, like you said, their smarts through the centre court, and they're really working their play, not just to try and get the ball down court, but the patience of moving it as well, and the way they use their body to protect that ball. So for Southeast Blaze then, what, if any, changes you would bring on? What kind of words would you give them? Any advice for how to go against now, especially for someone like Brooke Collette, who is now playing against a newer goal attack, a different goal attack? How would you lift that head back up?
I think in fairness to them, the first thing would be, look, your changing structure on your centre pass was superb. It made them do way more passes. There was none of that 1-2 and in that we saw in the first quarter. So the pressure in that respect has been great. But ultimately, you're playing a team that you're going to have to keep putting that pressure on and almost tweak the pressure to find different ways. So, like I said at the end of the first quarter, you've got Erin Hook on that goal line who finds that goal line drive. She literally takes 1 step, 2 steps, and she's got ball in hand because she's so fast on it. So you're going to have to just change your angle on her a little bit. And instead of getting either behind her to push her up or in front of her to be ball side, get an angle, keep her to one side and stop her doing that goal line drive. If she doesn't have that, you've taken one of her tools away. And it's then hoping that you kind of force an error. It's not necessarily looking for winning clean ball at the back. It's for forcing errors as well.
Absolutely. So forcing those errors as well will allow turnover, will allow maybe a little, you don't want to hope for a confidence drop, but it forces that as well, doesn't it? But for Northeast, then the challenges that the defences are facing, because obviously Northeast defence are not winning every ball, as we've seen from the scoreline. So Chas Jarvis in the back and Caitlin Jones, any changes for them? Any words for them to try and get around Meredith and Lewis?
To be honest with you, I think my biggest thing for them would be, look, they haven't, no disrespect to them, but they haven't scored every goal they've put up. So if we get 100% of the rebounds and we can take them through to goal, we're actually looking at a much healthier difference. So I'd be saying sit behind them almost. This would be me. So not necessarily what they should do, but sit behind him, keep them out to the edge. If they're going to make errors, let's put them under even more pressure. Let's get in their heads. And once they've got ball in hand, force them to shoot, but step in for that screen. Don't give any contacts away. Play disciplined. Even if you let ball land rather than go for that 50-50 ball, make them shoot.
Absolutely. Use your box out techniques and keep them away from that post, because you might not be the tallest one in there, but if you're stronger and more athletic, then you can get that ball, can't you?
Yeah.
You get 50% possession at the end of the day, so maybe you can get 60-70% if you take over those turnover balls. Okay, so looking around for more changes on the court. So Becca Hughes is back on at goal attack, but I believe Ashley Davis has gone over to the wing attack position, so she's still on the court. She did have an air of a wing attack about her, didn't she, in the way she moved. Jess Daltrey back into centre. Catherine Hughes moved back into wing defence. And just screening the Southeast Blaze girls for you.
Goal defence, wing defence have changed.
Absolutely. So we have Nia Fishlock in at goal defence. And Brooke Collette has moved into the wing defence position. Victoria Nettle has also come on at wing attack.
And I think this is interesting in terms of the Northeast Inferno changes, because obviously, I've forgotten her name, wing attack.
Oh, Ashley Davis.
Ashley Davis came on and did a superb job, but actually we talked about why Becca Hughes had come off. Was it because she was doing a bad job? Not necessarily. So actually maybe bringing her off, giving her a few pointers, look, watch this is what I want you to do when you get back on. It could be that she's just had some input, but when you come on and make that impact, you have to stay on the court, right? So just move her over.
Absolutely. And like we said, her movement through the court, her vision and footwork, she clearly can play a wonderful wing attack, so why not leave her on?
Yeah.
And also that change in defence from Southeast Blaze. Brooke Collette now back playing against Ashley Davis, whereas Nia Fishlock has a challenge of Becca Hughes in goal attack.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they play now defensively with a change of personnel. Is it going to be the same defence in that circle, or that's the goal line that she's got to shut down at the back? She had her on the right-hand side and then just allowed, when she gets flat, she allows her to run through the back.
So it's all about your hip angle, isn't it? It's about making sure that you don't just get flat to your player because you have no sight of where they are.
Yeah, you got to be good at salsa and netball, apparently.
Those feet and hips are good. And Jess Daltrey takes that tip over the back line. Charlotte Scarborough will go wide to Meredith. Oh, and Catherine Hughes really wanted that one.
She just comes from nowhere, though, as well, doesn't she?
I didn't even see her come for it. Silent assassin. Unfortunate for Charlotte Lewis, but Tash Jarvis picked up on that rebound. Exactly what we were talking about on quarter time. Rebounds for Northeast Inferno.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't box out to it, but we'll give it to him.
One thing at a time.
Yeah. I'm so fussy.
That's what makes you a good coach, Nat. Another miss there from Erin Hook, which is not something we're used to seeing, but Southeast Blaze will take advantage of that. Victoria Nettle working her way through court, providing options.
Oh, well picked up.
Oh, and there is that wonderful shot by Charlotte Lewis, lifted up in the air and dropped nicely through the hoop. That
was really nice, and this is going to be a problem for Northeast Inferno if that is the shots now that we get. If she starts nailing all of those, it's a completely different ball game. Oh, what a take!
Caitlin Jones on fire.
Wowza. That's why she didn't go to Cape Verde.
And another replay for Jess Daltrey, but she doesn't seem to agree. Becky Scott, our A umpire. I don't tend to argue with her much. Charlotte Lewis, lovely little split return. And that high shot again. She took on some pointers at quarter time, didn't she?
I think she did. I'd start to be being a bit nervous at the back.
Erin Hook with a wonderful split of her own. 2 defenders on her. Katie Reese has been pulled up. You see shooters do this a lot, don't you? If they've not quite get the shot, they just give a little flick of their own wrist after that ball's gone in, just to be like, this is what I'm trying to do. I do it myself, I have to admit. If you just haven't quite got that action right, you just give yourself a little, this is what I'm trying to do. Just a little flick.
It's true. As a defender, I'm refusing to comment.
Because it's all you, right?
I tell you what, though, that was a really nice call by the umpire on an attacking contact, because they happen too.
Oh, all the time. I must admit, I am guilty of an attacking contact.
Oh, great through court ball.
Oh, lovely play. Oh, wasn't that stunning? Ashley Davis, Becca Hughes, Erin Hook. What a trio.
And the last one must have had a centimetre gap each side to thread that ball through.
But it's the fast pace of it. It's taking ball, turning post and giving it, isn't it? It's that seeing that first time ball and knowing someone's going to be on the end of it.
Yeah. Well weighted, nice patience and good width. Look down.
Not quite in for that one, but Meredith will scoop. Take the score to 28-22.
And we talked about the rebounds for North East Inferno, but actually South East Blaze put themselves in good positions for the rebounds on attack.
Absolutely, but some lovely little give and go there between Hook and Daltrey, because South East allowed North East Inferno just to fully open up that play. Oh, Catherine Hughes.
Lovely, lovely timing, lovely change of angle.
There's that shot. And Charlotte Lewis's laces are open. There it is. Oh, couldn't quite get her hands on that one, Becca Hughes.
But they created a big enough gap now to allow themselves to like send those balls and see if they land.
Oh, Charlotte Lewis kept both defenders on her back then. And she had acres of space into that post.
I think they weren't expecting the ball to be quite so long through to Meredith, were they? But it's stunning.
And she's trying to do it again, but Tash Jarvis read that one cleanly. And some great core work from Jess Daltrey. Look how fast this ball is coming up the court. Becca Hughes will take this contact from Fishlock.
Oh,
and follows her own ball, but contact call was called.
Yeah.
Against Becca Hughes. Oh, Caitlin Jones. Oh, but Katie Reese will do the same thing. Whatever you can do, I can do better.
Who wants to keep possession? Lovely, accurate pass. Oh. Nice.
Charlotte Lewis takes it to 29-25. They are trying to close this gap.
I mean, it was their centre pass, but flipping heck, it took a long time in coming, that goal, didn't it?
And Erin Hook is now coming off the court, and Molly Underhill will be taking up a space as a shooter. A little bit extra height in there for North East Inferno.
Yeah, brave decision in some ways, because I think Erin Hook has been playing really well, but I think we might just see why it doesn't make any difference in a minute, because that was a really nice hold, nice take.
Lovely hold. She has been playing extremely well, Molly Underhill, over the last couple of dates we've had for this league. And she brings a different air of gameplay to Northeast Inferno. She changes the way the feeds go in, the players play around her. And now what would be nice to see is how Becca Hughes changes her way of playing around her, right in the circle.
Yeah, and like you say, the last ball sort of sailed over the top, got tipped. There was a couple, it was a bit more tricky to get in. So, fortune favours the brave.
Charlotte Lewis can't quite put that one in either, so Chas Jarvis will gladly take the ball.
Oh, nearly got it.
Oh,
I
Jess Daltrey a little bit too ambitious on that one. She gave a look to her coach on the sideline.
I think so. I'd be saying, she's just come onto court. Maybe play her in a little bit more gentle, give her a few more hands to ball before we start pinging the ball in from anywhere. Oh, lovely movement of the ball here. Great defence as well.
Lovely patience by Southeast Blaze and a reward by Charlotte Lewis. The score now 26-30.
It's literally goal for goal, isn't it?
It is goal for goal.
Ooh.
Molly Underhill making sure that ball was hers and putting the ball in the net.
She had to work for it. It wasn't an easy one to pull in.
She flew with the ball then, didn't she? Took a sail out of her.
Oh, footwork.
Replay ball, I think, was called.
Was it? Sorry.
From the umpire. Such a grey area of rules, I think.
Now hopefully with the new rules it's a bit tightened up.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, Becca Hughes.
Stop it.
Stop it. And there it is again.
What?
And another change on the court for Northeast Inferno. Ashley Davis is coming off the court in that wing attack position. And coming on instead.
Great vision. A complete draw from the wing attack.
Chloe Morris now in that wing attack position. Oh, Becca Hughes. She even went, at the end of that, just trying to beat the buzzer. But she didn't need to, did she? She had a penalty call against her. She could take all the time she wanted. Yeah,
to be honest, I think it was the third miss, wasn't it? I think she just expected the last one to go in. Like, what's going on? Why is it not going in? This doesn't happen to me. But you know what? You're 6 goals up. Doesn't matter.
At the end of that third quarter then, the Printco Northeast Inferno up 32 points against Southeast Blaze, MechTech Companies 26 points. So again, still a very close game at the moment. Nothing really jumping out at us.
It is. I think the thing is, Northeast Inferno, you see when they've got like periods of confidence to let the ball go, they're literally unbeatable, and that's what they've had patches of. And Southeast Blaze have to really try and stop that, and the only way that they can try and stop that is to really so you've got 2 options now. You can either dictate the space, or you can look at those long balls, create those long balls, which we know they like to throw, and take a couple of them out of the air, just to put a little bit of doubt in their mind. At the moment, there isn't any doubt in their mind. When you see them play, and that ball, those balls at the back, in between the shooters, it's unstoppable with that confidence.
Lovely, isn't it? So that quarter was 9-7 to Northeast Inferno. So we obviously see changes happening now in the middle of the quarters, even with a few seconds left on the clock. So is that a mind game thing? Is that a coach thing? Is it, talk me through your thoughts on the changes that Northeast Inferno brought in right at the end of the quarter when you could have waited till quarter time?
Yeah, I think it's almost, because if you make wholesale changes all at once, sometimes it has a negative impact, especially on the flow of the game. So if you're quite a few ahead and you've got the capacity to change someone 30 seconds before the end, what you're doing is giving them that 30 seconds for it to struggle, if that makes sense, and get it out the way, over and done with, so it doesn't impact the scoreline so much. It may also be that you want to see if something works, and you've got a short snapshot then to see if it works, like a minute or 2 minutes, which isn't going to destroy someone's confidence, as much if you then change back at quarter time. Whereas actually to put someone on at the beginning of a quarter and then take them off after 2 minutes, I think mentally that has a bigger impact on your players.
Absolutely, and like you said, it gives you that opportunity to see I want to see if this combination is there right for this opposition, because obviously every combination you put against an opposition can change, can't it, depending on the opposition you play. So if you want to see something's working and it's like, I'm going to put them on for the last minute, see if it works. If it doesn't, I'll change it again. And you have that capacity then to do it at quarter time. So like we saw Sophie Baxter putting on Chloe Morris then at the end, a wing attack just for that last maybe 40 seconds. Molly Underhill for the last couple of minutes, and seeing how do my team now change to play with these two players on court.
Yeah, and the same purpose, like if she goes back onto court now and something still doesn't quite work, I think going on towards the end of the quarter and then coming off during the middle of the next quarter again isn't the same negative impact as putting someone on at the beginning of the quarter, putting them on for 4 minutes and then pulling them off. So it might be the same time that they're on court for, but it's not the same mindset. It's
impact for the players.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that might not be why. Who knows?
It's all about the welfare of the players at the end of the day, isn't it? But I 100% agree with what you're saying.
They both got games, haven't they, again? So, like, you've got to rest players. But
definitely.
The most impressive thing about these sides is so far, none of the changes that we've seen have had a negative impact.
No, they're very much got depth on the bench, haven't they, both teams? And talking about the bench, we are just looking to see if any changes have been made. Charlotte Scarborough for South East Blaze has moved into the wing defence position. And we're just looking, Victoria Nuttall has moved into centre.
Oh, great defence.
Got wing attack for South East Blaze is Georgia Ahern. And North East Inferno have kept on that 7 that was on right at the end of that quarter, with Chloe Morris in wing attack and Molly Underhill in goal shooter.
Lovely top position.
Molly Underhill has the airs of Georgia Rowe about her, doesn't she?
She does, in her height and her, like how she is.
Just by looking at her.
It's not a bad person to be compared to.
Jess Daltrey has really injured herself here, we believe. There is a bit of a wince.
But let's talk about the comparisons to Georgia Rowe. Absolutely.
You can see the way she even holds herself, the way she holds herself against the defenders. She takes that front hold really nicely. She has the really nice, she's very long and army.
So can move as well.
Can move really nicely as well. Always moving around the court. It's just because you have long limbs doesn't mean you can't control them, right?
Yeah, and I think, that's credit to the coaches at the youth age as well. Like sometimes you find tall players and you get to sort of like 21, 22 and all they've got really in their toolbox is to stand and hold, because from a young age they were put there because they were tall and the coaches just said, just stand and hold. But it's fantastic that coaches of these tall players over here in Wales have been like, no, you can't just stand and hold. You've got to learn all these tools and you've got to move as well.
Yeah, just because everyone else is moving, you also have to move. Otherwise, you're just going to be that player that can't do anything.
Yeah, but by the time they get older, the height doesn't make as much difference because you get flighty defenders, as we've seen in this tournament.
Absolutely. So as Jess Daltrey takes to the bench to nurse that injury she has picked up, Emily Wykes has come on back into that centre position, and we do hope that Jess Daltrey is okay. And Emily Wykes settles in lovely into that centre court position.
Yeah, just slick. And, it's impressive to be so slick as well after an injury, because sometimes that can rock you as a team.
It can kind of disrupt the momentum, can't it, of your players? You're thinking about your teammate, everything's okay. But North East Inferno are currently having no issues with that as Molly Underhill puts that ball in the net, taking the score to 36-26.
Yeah, they're just really pushing on now, aren't they? They've almost put their foot down and said, right, we're just going to see this game out, which is great for North East Inferno, and that's really what your top teams do.
And Charlotte Lewis was trying her very best to get around Tash Jarvis, but it was not required as Abigail Meredith just did it herself. Oh, twin to twin, telepathy.
And that hold to the goal line from Underhill.
Time called for Katie Reese, the goalkeeper. Nia Fishlock is going to go back into that goalkeeper position, and Brooke Collette will move into goal defence.
Just waiting for them to get the bibs on.
Play will continue on the other side of the court. Fishlock is a player now against Molly Underhill. She has a little bit extra height going there, but we also know she has great elevation in her jump, as well as combining her with Brooke Collette. On that note, that was a shot.
That was a lovely shot, wasn't it?
Charlotte Scarborough. Oh, wonderful turnover.
And fabulous backup as well for her to be there. But who is it down the other
But
side?
there is Catherine Hughes again. It's a competition of the turnovers, isn't it?
Yeah. And that front hold again. And yet, like, you know, we talked about the height change in the defence, but actually when you can hold the front as a tall goal shooter, you can nullify that.
You can do everything then, can't you, really?
Lovely wide, great shutdown by Jones.
Lovely shutdown by Jones.
Thought she was unfortunate there.
And obstruction by Hughes. Third time ball in.
Yeah, it was sloppy arms up too soon before getting a distance there.
Just a little bit of sloppy play here from Northeast Inferno. They just need to tighten up a little bit.
Lovely.
Oh, great change direction from Chloe Morris, wasn't it?
Yeah, and really knowing that circle edge, which, to be fair, every player for Northeast Inferno have done really well. They all just seem to land right on the circle edge.
And for a mid-quarter, that's something you really have to teach yourself, isn't it? You really have to learn where your feet go. And it's the same for a shooter. You always know where the baseline is.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just things like, you see it at a top level, but it's stuff that people need to do all the way through. It's just like when you warm up to the circle edge. When you're doing your drills on court, do it in the area of the court that you play and work to the edges and don't go offside.
Ooh, replay ball called for Charlotte Lewis. In this last quarter of the second match here at the FleetEV National League. Northeast Inferno taking on Southeast Blaze.
Really strong man-on-man marking here from Southeast Blaze on this through court, and every credit that they're not giving up despite the fact it's blown to 10.
4 minutes left on the clock here of this final quarter.
And again, we talked about being to that line, and Hughes landed right by the line, and the ball was so accurate in.
And it's almost as if you don't want to look at your feet just in case you're off court. But you know you're probably not. But if you look at your feet, so does the umpire.
Yeah.
Oh, Emily Wykes on the run. Knew Underhill was there. Lovely hold. And the score now sits at 41-29 to Northeast Inferno. Georgia Ahern trying to protect that ball from a replay, but Catherine Hughes took it away.
I think sometimes if the players pick it up with confidence, they're less likely to get pulled.
Yes, like it is with your feet offline,
Yeah.
offside.
And plus, like we talked about before, the replayed rule, you know, is sometimes so iffy that actually if you pick it up, the umpire may not have deemed it as controlled anyway. And in the new rules, we're obviously a lot clearer. You can bounce it once, you can tap it once, and then do something else with it, and it's not replayed.
Well, Northeast Inferno are really trying to take this game away now. Their defensive setup has really stepped up a gear. They're squeezing Southeast Blaze all into that one side of the court, aren't they? They were all pushed right into that corner.
Yeah.
But Meredith just short on that shot.
It was a good try from the wing attack, but
3, 4, 5 passes and an unforced overpass.
But
And
that-
Southeast will get it back.
yeah, you know what? There was a couple that had just gone a bit astray, and actually what you need in that situation is then someone to play some short, calm balls, bring it back down again.
Just settle the play.
Yeah, we talked about earning the right sometimes to give the middle, earning the right sometimes to give the wide, earning the right to give the long. You almost have to earn your speed. Once you start to lose that ability to play at that speed, that's when you've got to bring it down and earn the right to go faster.
Absolutely. Once it's not in control. Oh, she did land out to court and she looked at her feet. But so did Becky Scott, our MA umpire, and Charlotte Lewis was just out to court.
She wasn't listening.
She wasn't listening.
Although I've
Northeast.
got a bad feeling that Becky Scott would have picked it up anyway.
I think they should all play with an earpiece so they can listen to us talk about them. So here you go Northeast again with 1.5 minutes left on the clock. 90 seconds to make any difference.
What on earth?
But what a ball. And a high five from Caitlin Jones for that ball, but they do have to go again.
That was that sister-to-sister combination you were talking about.
It's twin telepathy.
I wonder whether Becca Hughes was going no and Katrin Hughes was going, oh yes.
It's coming in. Oh, and there is
great
Caitlin
defense.
Jones again with that lovely tip. And again. But she was unfortunately pulled for contact on that.
She's just so dogged in tracking. She's on it,
She's
back on
everywhere,
it.
isn't she? And she has such a great elevation in her jump as well. Like, you think she's not going to get there, but she will. 35 seconds then on the clock. What can happen? What can Southeast Blaze do with this time?
Well, a good turnover to start off with is a great way to start.
Becca Hughes ran into a mirror.
Just eats into the time.
Oh, Charlotte Lewis takes a tumble.
Again, this just eats into the time. 15 seconds, still plenty of time to score, but
again, Northeast doing everything they can to slow down the play. Meredith just short, and now they will quicken up this play to try and get another goal on the board. And it's just run out of time for that for Northeast Inferno. So final scores on the doors here at that second game of the day. Northeast Inferno 43, Southeast Blaze 30. What a second match.
oh, it really was. And you know what? Like we say, it was contested all the way through. Blew out a bit in the final quarter, but some fantastic play from both sides. And goodness me, it's just getting closer and closer, isn't it?
It was wonderful, wasn't it? And Northeast, you know, they kind of went up and down a little bit there, but we did see Southeast really bring that back and show what they're made of.
Yeah, and they, you know what, they came out firing. They started off so well in that game, and they kept coming back. They never let their heads drop, and you kind of feel sorry for them that the last quarter blew out to the difference that it does, because obviously that's the score that sits with it. But the score certainly, I know it's a bit cheesy, but it definitely didn't reflect the game that we've just watched.
Absolutely. So that's game 2 of today done. Next up, we will have for you Power Sparks versus City Flames. They will be getting onto the court at just around 10 to 12. So we're going to take a short break just to rest our voices and take on some water. But please join us back just before 10 to 12 to see that next game of the day. Thank you so much.